When I consulted with a lot of youths in previous dialogues, I get one very common feedback, which I think you alluded to earlier on, which is you have so many dialogues here and you have so many focus group discussions, you ask for so many views, but where does it all end up? So after a while, if we keep on doing that and we ask you for a dialogue, but you don't know where it goes to, where your thoughts are and how does it figure in our policies, even if it does, there's no accountability, it's very hard for you to feel invested in the process. So we decided to turn it the other way around. Rather than for you to make a proposal and then for government or agencies to tell you what's wrong with it, why we can't do this, either now or at all, we thought let's invert the process. Let's start by identifying the issues that most resonate with you. And as I said earlier, there are very many issues that you see out there on the board. It's a whole spectrum of different issues. They're all important, but perhaps we have to focus on a few that maybe you're more interested in, more invested in, and maybe feel a better ability to share your policy suggestions with us. Let's start with those. And then, before we ask you to tell us your suggestion, let's share information about our challenge as we see it. And sometimes it might be a perspective that you have not had, just as you can give us a perspective that you have not had. For example, agencies will always be worried about usual things. Where's the money coming from? What budget do we have? How do we make sure that those who are not in the policy will not be adversely affected by it? How do we ensure that this policy, once we institute it, can be sustainable? We don't want to do something that's only around for 4, 5, 6 years and then after all it tapers off. How do we ensure that we have the requisite resources, manpower, financial and so on to keep it going? And what impact does this have on future generations? When you do something now, what is the impact on subsequent policies that might affect a similar group? So these are some of the things that we think about upfront when we try to start off with a policy. And it's important when we look at the process for us to share that challenge with you first. Give you some data, give you some information, and socialize these issues with us. In turn, you tell us how you see it from your perspective. Share your own data points. It may be anecdotal. You might not have the full spectrum of information, but each data point is going to be relevant because we collect it. And after a while, we feel that there's enough data points on this. Actually, that represents a fair cross-section of our youth population and their views. So we start like this, exchanging information and data points and challenges and trade-offs and so on. And then from there, we start to identify what the problem statement might be. With that, you can start proposing what you think are solutions or policy shifts, or maybe adjustments or fine-tuning something that can make a difference in the context of all these trade-offs. So that's the process that I would like to see happen on this.